Welcome to the Maine Real Estate Roundtable podcast. I'm Bobbie Grenier, your trusted guide to navigating the world of real estate in Maine. Get ready to debunk mortgage myths, unravel real estate mysteries, and learn tips to avoid costly mistakes. Whether you're an industry pro, an overwhelmed buyer, confused seller, or simply curious about life in Maine, this is the podcast for you. Hey there, welcome back to the Maine Real Estate Roundtable podcast. I'm your host, Bobbie, and this is a podcast where we talk about all things Maine real estate. Today, it's my pleasure to have Cecilia Lawrence on the show to talk with us about Habitat for Humanity of Greater Bangor. Cecilia is a loan officer with First National, and she brings extensive real estate knowledge and experience to her leadership roles serving Habitat for Humanity. In this conversation, we dive into the amazing work Habitat does, how families can be considered for partnership, ways to volunteer and get involved, and of course, one of my favorite things, debunking common misconceptions about Habitat for Humanity. Plus, we're going to let you in on an upcoming Habitat event that you won't want to miss. Cecilia shares her passion for being part of something that can truly change the trajectory of a family's life. And it all starts with a home. It's such a great chat, and I can't wait for you to hear it. So grab your coffee, find your comfy spot, and listen in. Welcome, Cecilia.
Hi, Bobbie. Thanks for having me today.
I am so happy that you came on to talk to us, and I'm super excited about the topic because I was, for a very short period of time, a member of the Family Selection Committee for Habitat for Humanity. And I went in there really with a lot of ideas of what Habitat was, what it did, what it didn't do, and I was wrong. So I think this is great to get it out to the public, to let everybody in on what Habitat is, what it actually does, how it works within the community. So I appreciate so much you coming on and sharing all of your knowledge with us. Before we get started, can you just tell us what your role is with Habitat?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a few different roles within Habitat. I am chair of the Family Selection Committee. I am also on the board for Habitat, and I am secretary of the board.
Can you kind of go into a little bit of what the mission is for Habitat for Humanity?
Absolutely. Habitat's mission is seeking to put God's love into action. Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, community, and hope.
I absolutely love God's love into action. That just made my Sunday morning. Thank you for that.
Of course.
And I think, as I said, I had a lot of misconceptions. I wasn't really certain how Habitat worked and how it's such a really from the ground up type of process. Can you go through just sort of the basic rundown of the process for either getting a Habitat home ready or getting a family into a home?
Absolutely. I could do both if you like. So, Habitat for Humanity of Greater Bangor is a local nonprofit organization. We are an affiliate of Habitat for Humanity International. There are 8 affiliates within the state of Maine, and each affiliate has their own territory or location that they service. So, Habitat for Humanity of Greater Bangor, we serve 22 communities in our area. Those communities are Alton, Bangor, Bradford, Brewer, Carmel, Corinth, Dedham, Eddington, Garland, Glenburn, Hamden, Herman, Holden, Hudson, Kenduskeag, LaGrange, Levant, Milford, Newburgh, Old Town, Orono, Orrington, Penobscot Nation, Vesey, and Winterport. The houses that we build, we actually have a really wonderful partnership with Eastern Maine Community College, their construction program. The students are the ones that actually build the home. So they start the process in the fall. They build the house from the ground up. They go through until their semester ends in the spring. And however much they've gotten done, that's how Habitat for Humanity gets the home. So whatever they've gotten to, we take possession from that point. We arrange to have it delivered to the lot that the house is going to go on. And then from that point, we have a combination of both skilled laborers and volunteers come in to help us complete the home to get it ready to be move-in ready for our next Habitat partnership family. That's kind of a very basic description of how we build our houses. And then to qualify for a Habitat home, we have three criteria that we look for when we're selecting a partner family. One is a demonstrated need for housing. Two is an ability to pay. And then three is their willingness to partner with Habitat, which is what we refer to as our sweat equity.
So the house starts off site and then it's moved to the location. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize that.
That is how Habitat for Humanity is current, or the Greater Bangor affiliation anyway. That's how we're currently set up. We do hope to be able to do possible renovations or a stick-built home in the future. We're just not at that point yet.
You, at this point, are only doing new builds?
Yes, we are hoping to expand that, but not sure when that may occur.
What is the criteria for the land that you put the home on?
We really don't have a whole lot of criteria, honestly. Right now, we are looking at land pretty much within our communities that we service so that we have a home there. It's been a little bit difficult finding the land as real estate market is just in general.
That actually brings me to another point I wanted to talk with you about. Like right now, affordability, be it in a program like Habitat or just people out there looking for homes in real estate, it's not there for most people. So what are the challenges that has brought to Habitat?
In the general real estate market, when you're looking to buy, you're qualified for a certain amount, and then that's the amount that you're kind of at. Like that's what you're looking for. That is your price range that you need to stick with. Habitat for Humanity is a little bit different in that the way that we structure our home sales is the house actually sells. The sales price is what the home appraises for. But if we have a homeowner that comes in and let's say the house is appraised for 250,000 and we sell it for 250,000, but our homeowner can only qualify for a mortgage up to 200,000, they pay 200,000. Habitat for Humanity will then go in and hold a silent second for the remaining 50,000 to make up that sales price. So we're not expecting our homeowners to be able to qualify for the full sales price amount. We sell it at what they can afford, which keeps their payment within 30% of their monthly income. They're not spending too high of a percentage of their income on their mortgage and putting them into the impossible situations that can occur, like do I pay my mortgage or do I pay my health care? Or do I pay for food or my transportation costs? With this particular environment that we live in, those are real everyday challenges that a lot of people face. And that's what we're trying to help erase.
Well, I want to jump back a little bit. You have a history in lending. You actually are a lender with First National, and you also have a history in title. You and I worked together for many years, so you really have a great, well-rounded knowledge of the real estate industry, which I'm sure you are able to bring to Habitat. I wanted to jump in. You've kind of touched on some things, but I wanted to go over some misconceptions about Habitat. The first one being, which you sort of went over and debunked it right out of the gate, but I think a lot of people think that Habitat for Humanity gives you a home, gives you a house.
Yes, that is a huge misconception about the program. A lot of people do think that it is a free home, and I'm not quite sure where that came from or started from, but it's very prevalent out there. But we do not give a free home. We sell the home. The applicants have to be able to demonstrate an ability to pay for the home. So usually that is through whatever they earn for income. They need to have a credit score of 640, a minimum credit score of 640. They need to be able to qualify for a mortgage and pay said mortgage back.
I'm not sure where it came from either, but I literally, up until I became involved for that short time in Habitat, that I thought, oh, how wonderful, free homes. But it really is more attainable in the way that you're doing it, because it bridges from helping unhoused people. And that takes me into the next misconception, that you have to be homeless in order to qualify for a Habitat for Humanity home.
Right. And that is not a need. It is just, it's a demonstrated need for housing. It could be that you're homeless. It could be that your current housing situation that you live in subpar, substandard housing. There are a lot of people that live in apartments where maybe things are not kept up to date. Maybe it takes the landlord a long time to fix issues, or maybe they go without heat or hot water during the winter time. And maybe they're living with family. Maybe they've had a situation where they no longer are renting, but they're in a situation where there's overcrowding. Maybe there's a family of four living in a one bedroom apartment. So there's all sorts of things that can qualify as a need for housing. It's not necessarily being unhoused.
The other thing that I've heard was that if you get into a Habitat for Humanity home, you have to live there forever. You can never sell, you can never leave, you're there.
That is not true. You absolutely can leave, you can sell. The way that we have structured our silent second mortgages is there is a time period on that silent second as to if you were to sell within a certain amount of time, how much you owe on that silent second. If you live there for 30 years, you're never going to pay a dime towards that silent second mortgage. If you get in there and something comes up, because let's face it, life happens, you need to sell within 2, 3 years. Part of your proceeds from your sale is going to be going to paying back that full Habitat mortgage. But if you're in that home for 15 years and something happens, maybe you decide that you're tired of the Maine winters and you want to move down south and be warm, you're going to pay a lesser amount. It's calculated from that. The silent second is a 0% interest rate. And it's, after 5 years, the payment starts to go down, or the amount that you would owe starts to go down every single month until you eventually are left with a zero balance.
Can you tell our listener, just give a brief description of what a silent second is?
A silent second is a mortgage that is going to be recorded against the property in the registry of deeds, so that when you go to sell your home or refinance your home, when title does a title search, they're going to say, hey, you have two mortgages on your property. These need to be paid in full. We do it at a 0% interest rate for the difference between what the homeowner can afford and what the sales price is. So in the earlier example, $50,000. Silent means, at least for Habitat for Humanity, there's no payment expected on that silent second. So you don't have a mortgage payment for your first and then a mortgage payment on the second. It's there. The primary reason for holding a silent second in these situations is to prevent someone from turning around and selling the property and making a huge profit, because that's not the intent of our mission. Our mission is to keep the home affordable and keep it within like an affordable housing type situation, not have someone get in, turn around and be able to sell it and make a ton of money off of the sale of the property.
Because essentially they start with equity in that amount that the silent second mortgage is covering. So that's the security for Habitat for Humanity, should somebody, again, for whatever reason, need to sell the property, and you can get paid back. And it's sort of on a sliding scale depending on how long they're actually in the home.
Correct.
Awesome. Thank you for going into that. I'm very familiar with this stuff. I'm like, how exactly does that work? Another big misconception is around volunteerism. I think a lot of people believe that they need to have a great deal of contractor experience, building experience, maybe be an experienced professional painter. That is not the case.
No, that's not the case. We have volunteers that come in that have never lifted a paintbrush in their life, or maybe they know what a hammer is, but maybe not the difference between Phillips and yeah, here I am showing mine. I can't even think of the other screwdriver type I'm thinking of. But all experience levels are welcome. Those from no experience to maybe you do have experience with construction and contracting. We would love to, we welcome everybody. If you don't know how to paint, we have someone that can show you how to do it to make sure that that you're doing it right. And then at the same time, while you're volunteering, you're learning a skill for yourself as well.
How important is volunteerism for the program?
It's exceptionally important. We could not do what we do without our volunteers. Our volunteers are everything to us, from helping, come in to help finish the homes, whether it be painting or hanging siding or, loaming a yard because the homeowner moved in the winter and there was no way we could get that ready. So in the spring, that's what we're looking to do. Or coming in and, joining the board or volunteering on one of our committees. The information, the knowledge that you can bring is exceptionally valuable to us. Volunteering in the Restore to help out the Restore employees. Our volunteers are everything, is basically what it boils down to.
Talk to me a little bit about Restore and how the initiative for Restore works within Habitat.
Sure. So the Restore, if you don't know, they sell goods. We have, just for an example, couches, there's doors, there's windows, there's chairs, there's dining room tables, there might be bedroom sets. You might have electrical, such as lighting, fans, ceiling fans, all sorts of different home good type items are in the Restore that we resell at, 25 to 75% discounted from what you would pay for it brand new. It is donated materials. Proceeds that we make, the profit from the Restore, helps fund the build that we're currently on or the next build that we're working on.
Just to be clear, it's not just furniture. If, say, somebody took out their stainless steel sink that was in great condition just because they wanted to upgrade or change it out or whatever, that is something that you'd be happy to take.
Absolutely.
So now, as we're getting into spring, hopefully, fingers crossed, when everybody is doing their renovations, their spring cleaning, now is the time to keep Restore in mind.
Absolutely. Yes. Keep us in mind. If maybe you have something that's larger and you don't have a way to transport it, give the Restore a call. We do have a truck. You may have seen it around town. We do have our logo on the truck now. We can make deliveries. We can pick it up and bring it back to the Restore for you. If you're a realtor that's happening to watch this and you have a client that's looking to downsize and they don't know what to do with their furniture, please keep the Restore in mind if they would like to donate.
How does somebody get involved? I mean, we've talked about a lot of different ways that volunteers and folks can get involved. What is the best way? Because a lot of times we do this and we think, oh, I should do that. What's the next step?
Reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about it. Reach out to the Restore, call the Restore, reach out to our executive director, Melissa Houston. Go to our website, habitatbangor.org. There is all kinds of information on that website where you can fill out a form. It's got information on volunteering. There's all kinds of ways that you can get involved, whether it be like we had discussed, volunteering on one of our build sites, volunteering in the Restore, joining a committee. If you have interest in joining the board, we would love to speak with you.
So we talked a little bit about the families that may qualify for a Habitat home. And I'm not certain if this is still the case, but when I was involved in the family selection committee, it actually, a big topic of conversation was, what is the outreach we can do? Because there were not a lot of families applying. Has that improved?
Yes and no. I think another misconception that is out there that is actually around the family selection process is that we have a huge pipeline of families waiting to be selected. And while I wish with all of my heart that that were the case, unfortunately, it is not. We have, with our last home that we just did in Old Town, we had 6 families total qualify. And, that right there, you've got a 1 in 6 chance of being selected to have a home. And for Orno, we had 2 families qualify. You had a 50% chance of being selected. So there is a misconception that, oh, well, yes, I think this would be great. I meet all the qualifications, but there's no way they would ever select me because they must have a huge amount of people that are interested. That's not necessarily the case. Please apply. We would love for you to apply.
So it was always my thought that you had sort of two categories of people that maybe the first category being somebody that reached out and when they found out, oh, wait, this isn't a free home, then they weren't interested in following through with applying for the home, or the category of person that feels like maybe they do make a little too much money or their circumstances wouldn't qualify them. So do you find that you're running into those two categories of people, and that's the challenge for people applying?
Yes, absolutely, especially with the free home misconception. I receive a lot of inquiries about our homes. And then as soon as I send out information, and one of the main bullet points that I list is this is not a free home, the inquiries definitely fade off, if not completely drop. There is that huge misconception. And a lot of people are not interested once they realize that it's not free. We do have people also that reach out and think, well, no, I make too much money. When in reality, that may not necessarily be the case. And we do have income limitations on qualifying. And for our area, the income requirements are that you need to earn between 30 to 80% of the area median income. Just as an example, for a family of four, 30% of AMI is 31,200, where 80% is 75,750. So somebody might think, oh, I, I make too much money. It's not necessarily the case. Please don't let that be a deterrent from reaching out, because we can go over it and see, do you or do you not? Do you actually qualify? It is, of course, based off family size, but it is one of those things that does exist and becomes a barrier in trying to find a family to qualify.
This work must absolutely warm your heart. Can you share some successes?
Absolutely. This has been one of the best things that I have had the joy of being involved in. Seeing our families that are selected and the joy that it brings, I will get a little choked up because I always do. Seeing them be able to realize that they're the ones that made this happen. Because if it wasn't for the work that they had done, that it wouldn't happen for them. But knowing that, they now have a safe home that they can raise their children in. We've had families come back and say, we were in there and we have family over every weekend because now we have a place where we can have this, and we're outside and we're doing, we did a garden. We decided to have like a fire pit installed, and all of our family comes in and they want to stay with us because we now have this stable environment. We've had homeowners that have been able to go on to better career opportunities because now they have this in their back pocket. They have a home that is theirs, that they qualified for. It's a place where they can live, it's stability. And it just creates all kinds of opportunities for not only the parents, but for the children as well. It provides stability for them. And there are things out there that state that children in stable homes, they can do better as far as their schooling goes. They can live healthier lives. They're not in a situation where their health is at risk. So it's just it leads to all kinds of wonderful things that you get to hear. And we have outreach with our, existing families, and just seeing the smiles on their faces and hearing them talk about how much having a Habitat home has helped and how happy they are and the joy that their family experiences. It's worth it like 10 times over.
I've actually been to a few of the dedications, and me being me, I always show up with like a housewarming gift, and it's really no way to describe how heartwarming and beautiful experience it is. And just they are beaming and they have such pride. We always use the term pride in homeownership. And it means a lot of different things, but I think in this case, it just really means that it's a process to apply, to be qualified, to wait for the home to be ready. And when they get there and they cross that finish line, they should be so very proud of themselves.
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing. It's amazing to see how excited the kids are to be able to show, their rooms that they're going to be moving into, how excited the parents are just knowing that, hey, this is something that I was able to do. It can be very emotional. Like I said, for me, I think I've cried at every dedication I've just about attended, even though I try not to. It gets hard to not, and there are always tears of happiness and tears of joy. And we like to say with Habitat, it's not a hand out, it's a hand up. And it's powerful.
I love the point that you brought up that it starts with getting into this home, and it in so many ways can shift the track of somebody's life, career wise or family fulfillment. That's really just such an amazing point, because you think about, oh, they get in a home and really they have a home, but probably nothing changes. But it really, the momentum that new home must give their life is unbelievable.
Absolutely. And they become part of, the community that they live in. And they help contribute to that community. And it feels like community, and everybody is so welcoming. And it's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to experience. And I'm so glad that I'm able to have a part in just a small little part of their journey.
So talk to me about some future goals, some possibly upcoming events that Habitat has.
Sure. So this is a really exciting year for Habitat for Humanity of Greater Bangor. We are building our 30th house this year, which is just fantastic. It is going to be in Bangor. So there's going to be a lot of events happening around the Bangor build. We do plan to host a few like informational Q&As to help garner some interest with potential homeowners. One of our fundraising activities that is currently going on is our Habitat beer passport, where we have partnered with local breweries. We're going to be having a pop-up event at Sea Dog in Bangor on Thursday, March 13th, just as an opportunity for people to come out. They can use their passport, they can learn some more about Habitat. If you don't have a passport and you'd love to buy one, we'll have some for sale. There will be, in the summertime, once we get the home onto the lot, opportunities to help volunteer.
That's exciting. That sounds like fun. So that's Thursday, March 13th at the Sea Dog in Bangor, Maine.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Cecilia. This actually has been such a nice way to start my day, such a nice episode. And I think that really people understanding, we sort of skim the surface of what Habitat is all about, but to take the time to learn more about it. And on that, I would like you again to share some information first on how people can volunteer, and then also anybody that's just thinking maybe this is something for me. How do they find out more information and to see if they might qualify?
I would say the first step is to go to the website. It is habitatbangor.org. There is information on how to apply for a home, how to volunteer. There's information about donations. There's information if you wish to purchase a Habitat beer passport. All of that information is right there on the website, and it is a fantastic place to get started. And even if you're listening to this and you think, I don't qualify, but maybe your friends do, please make sure to spread this information. Let them know, send them to the website, send them over to me. I would love to talk to them.
Perfect. And I'm going to share all of this information, more information about Habitat on the show notes page on my website. And again, this is such great work that you do. And the only phrase that comes to mind is it takes a village. And we often say that about raising children, but I think it takes a village in taking care of each other. And the first step in that is just having a safe, clean, loving home.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bobbie. This has been a pleasure.
What an absolutely amazing program. Thank you so much, Cecilia, for coming on. So I want to remind you, if you want to get involved with Habitat for Humanity, then you can go to habitatbangor.org. It gives you all the information on volunteering. It also gives you the information on applying to be a partnership family with Habitat. Also, don't forget that pop-up event. So that's going to be the Habitat pop-up event, and that is Thursday, March 13th at the Sea Dog Restaurant in Bangor, Maine from 5 to 7 p.m. Again, more information on that event on the Habitat website as well. That's habitatbangor.org. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep it real. This has been the Maine Real Estate Roundtable podcast with Bobbie Grenier. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion and will share this episode with a friend. And don't forget to leave a review and follow the podcast so you don't miss new episodes. The content of this podcast is for informational purposes and not intended as legal advice or representation by myself or any of the guests on the podcast. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep it real.